So the question I was asked is, if a mother is pregnant and she's experiencing energetic overload, can we tell if the baby is affected by that? Okay, so it's a slightly complicated one. So first of all, what's energetic overload? This is something that someone could experience if they have too much prana flowing through their body. It's usually caused by spiritual practices. If someone has, for example, quite an intense spiritual practice that's causing a lot of energy to move in their body, they could find themselves in a situation where they have too much energy in their body, too much purification happening, and they might experience symptoms like irritability or anxiety or fear or anger or a pressure in the head, a headache, something like that. So that's energetic overload, and then the best response to that would be to reduce their practices and increase the amount of grounding that they're doing, grounding practices like walking in nature. So that's energetic overload. Now if a mother was pregnant, the question was, if a mother is pregnant and she's experiencing that, can we know if that is affecting the baby inside her womb? Now, the answer is yes, it is possible to know if it's affecting the baby. It's possible because one of the things that happens as we're practicing yoga and we're beginning to awaken is that we start to become sensitive to what other people can feel. So we could be sensitive to what the mother is feeling, and we could also be sensitive to what the baby is feeling. And so we can actually feel what a baby is feeling, even if it's inside the womb. The skin doesn't act as a barrier to the transmission of emotional energy. So we can know if the baby is affected by that. However, it's quite unlikely. It's quite unlikely, and it's quite unlikely for two reasons. Now, so you could think, well, why would the baby be affected by that? You know, why would the baby be affected by something happening energetically to the mother? So the reason it could be affected is because of the way that prana transmits, okay, the way that energy, subtle energy, transmits. And energy is kind of magnetic. If you imagine energy flowing through an energy channel in one person, if there's someone nearby, the energy flowing through the first person can actually cause the energy flowing through the second person to increase. Okay, and it works on a channel by channel, chakra by chakra basis. If someone is experiencing their heart chakra opening and someone else is nearby, they might also feel their own heart chakra open as a result of that. If someone is experiencing their crown chakra opening and someone else is nearby, they might experience their crown chakra opening. If someone has a strong flow of energy through one of the side channels, that could activate one of the side channels in someone nearby. So there's a magnetic effect, and it's chakra by chakra and nadi by nadi. And so this works in a similar way to guitars in a room. If you fill a room full of guitars, they're all tuned to each other, and you pluck the string on the guitar in the middle of the room, it'll actually cause the same string on the guitars around it to vibrate. Okay? So that's how a baby could be affected by something happening energetically in its mother. And that would actually apply whether the baby's still in the womb or whether the baby's born, living in the world. Now, so there's two reasons why the baby is likely to be not affected. One is because there isn't a direct one-to-one correlation between prana flowing through the energy channel of one person and what happens in people nearby. There's a lesser effect. What happens to them is less than what's happening for the first person. So even though the baby is very close to the mother, energy flowing through the channels in the mother will have less effect on energy flowing through the channels in the baby. But there's another more important reason that the baby is likely to be not affected, and that's because babies are very pure. They have very pure channels, very pure energetic channels and very open chakras. And when a channel is very pure, it can cope with a lot of prana, it can cope with a lot of energy moving through it. And when chakras are very open, they can cope with a lot of prana flowing through them. So even if what's happening for the mother did transmit to the baby could likely just handle it fine without any issues. And when babies are born, they're born in this state, they're born with very open chakras, very open energy channels. And this is one of the reasons it's so amazing to hold a newborn baby, because it's in such an awakened state, such a pure state. Unfortunately, it doesn't last forever. Unfortunately, the chakras start to close down, the nadis start to create blockages caused by past karma, and then by the time the baby's sort of 2 years old or 3 years old, it's fighting over its toys and it won't let you put its shoes on, and it's screaming and shouting. But certainly for the first few weeks and even the first few months, babies are in a very pure state. They're not enlightened, they don't have wisdom, unfortunately, so they just respond to their environment. When they are hungry, they cry. When they don't know where their parents are, they cry. When they're cold or hot, they cry. So they spend a lot of time crying. When they need the nappy changing, they cry. So they're just responding to their environment in a very immediate way. There isn't any discrimination taking place. There's no wisdom there. But in terms of the energetic channels and the chakras, they're very pure. So we can largely trust that a baby in the womb is going to be okay. This means that, a pregnant mother can practice meditation. She can practice pranayama, she can do yoga asana, and trust that the baby will be fine. And if anything, will actually benefit from that, because it's so pure and it can handle so much. As the mother is purifying herself and awakening herself, that will transmit to the baby, and the baby can handle it. And the baby will be born more awake than it would have been otherwise. So that means more conscious.